Hey, everybody, welcome back to another edition of New York Sports Rehab, a quick take edition of New York Sports Rehab. I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it sweet, or maybe not so sweet, but there's a lot of things going on in Metland over the last few weeks, and none of them are good. And as you can see by the title of my podcast or short video, it's a warning for people that root for the New York Mets. If you're a Met fan, warning, it can be hazardous. It can be extremely dangerous and hazardous to your health. If you're going to continue like me to be glutton for punishment and come back every night and watch the Mets in spite of losing and finding new ways to lose day in and day out. It's not just losing 14-16. It's not just being 15 games under 500 over the last 2 months since June 13th. It's the way they lose. It seems like they find a different way each and every night. And each night there's a different culprit. It could be a throwing error by Brett Beatty. It could be a fielding error by Ronnie Mauricio. It could be Ryan Helsley, who's been terrible. What is it? Players come to the Mets and they put on the Met uniform and they forget to play. It's like the team name Mets supersedes the name on the jersey of that particular player. Helsley was lights out. He comes to the Mets and it's lights out. Okay, it's lights out for the Mets. But each and every day, it's something different. And I will tell you this, the one positive about all this and being a Met fan through this collapse, and make no mistake about it, this is a full-fledged collapse. And if the Mets don't make the playoffs, and even if they do back in and get knocked out in the first round, this will be remembered as the collapse of 2025, right up there with the collapse of 2007 and the collapse of 2008. We'll have the 2025 in-season collapse. But the thing that's good about the Mets is they lose in excruciating fashion in a different way every night. And there's so much of it, you actually, after a while, forget about some of the previous collapses. They're out of your system. It's like all a blur for me now. All I can remember is now last night they blew a 6-4 lead. The bullpen came in, the elite relievers of Rogers and Helsley. And, Rogers has kind of flown under the radar, but he's been pretty bad too. He comes in quietly in the sixth inning, allows a run, and then Helsley comes in and finishes us off. And he's been getting most of the blame, but Rogers hasn't been that good either. You got to come in and pitch a shutout inning. Yesterday's game was designed to what the Met blueprint was supposed to be. Have a 6-4 lead, shut it down with your relief pitching. You got 4 innings, you got Soto, you got Helsley, you got Diaz, you got Rogers, you got Rayleigh. You should be able to lock that game down and maybe give up 1 run at most, or at least give your team a chance to come back if they do have a 3-run homer like Alvarez got yesterday. So the good news is it's all a blur. I've already forgotten. I know they blew games against the Braves last week. I've forgotten about the 6-0 lead and how they blew that game. I forgot how they blew game 3. I forgot how they blew games against the Guardians. I forgot about that initial blown game against the Padres 3 weeks ago when they had a 5-1 lead. It's all a blur right now. So if you're upset about last night's game, never fear. Don't fear, because in a couple of days, you're going to forget all about how they lost yesterday's game, because you'll have a whole new list of disasters in your brain to whitewash that. So that's the great thing of the Mets. Any one of these games could live on in your mind for weeks, but they don't, because they're just another one coming. How are we going to blow tonight's game? Who's going to be the villain? So it's been awful. If you're a Met fan, man, you deserve some kind of award. But this is about really my advice to you. If you're a Met fan, find an outlet. If the outlet in life for you is watching the Mets, if the outlet for you as a diversion or a coping mechanism with life, because there's so many things in the world right now that are bad. And if your way of dealing with whatever's going on in your life, whether it be politics, whether it be just current events, whether it be something personal, whatever, and you're using the Mets as that outlet, find another outlet. Because if you continue to root for the Mets, you're going to need an outlet to bypass your initial outlet. Okay. So meditate, take yoga, do Pilates, go for a jog, go for a walk the dogs, take some ayahuasca, go on a darkness retreat. Actually, you are on a darkness retreat, come to think of it. Right now, you are on a darkness retreat watching the Mets every day, but maybe you go on like an Aaron Rodgers um, darkness retreat, because you got to find some outlet. Otherwise, like I said, the Surgeon General has warned that rooting for the New York Mets can and will be hazardous to your health. And I'm hanging in there to the end, but I don't know how much more of this I can take. There somehow miraculously they're still in the wild card, and they may back in. There's really not a whole lot of competition. Eventually, if this keeps up, I mean, they're going to be under 500. Do you have any confidence they're going to win these next two games against Mariners? And then they're 4 games over. Then they got the Braves again, who are terrible, but seem to be able to find a way to beat the Mets. The pitching staff is shot. I mean, it seems like, for a while we complained about the hitting, but they've picked it up now. I think I've read somewhere the Mets have scored 7 runs a game. They've averaged 7 runs a game for the last week, and they've lost every game but one. That's got to be unprecedented. Did anybody think that when they had that 6-4 lead yesterday going into the sixth, that was going to be enough? I didn't. I said they're going to have to score more, and they did. They got a 3-run homer by Alvarez, but they still lost by 2 runs. So this can be very, very detrimental to your health. If you don't have an outlet, find an outlet. If watching the Mets has been your outlet, get another outlet to supersede that outlet before it's too late. I'm not telling you to stop being a Met fan. It's in our blood. We keep coming back every day, glutton for punishment and taking more, but you need something to offset that. Okay, because we're in our own little darkness retreat right now, and I don't know if the Mets are coming out of it. So I'm going to close things up by saying, at some point you would think the law of averages has got to be in our favor, and they're going to break this spell and get into the playoffs and maybe right the ship. But I don't know. I said the same thing in 2007 and 2008 and in 2006. And it seemed like every time something good happens for the Mets, like last year was a miraculous year, exceeded expectations. We're paying for it this year. In '86, when the Mets won the World Series, ball got through Buckner's legs. We paid for it for years to come. In 2006, we made the playoffs, won 100 games. We collapsed the next 2 years. So maybe, again, this is the price that we have to pay. We have to be cursed as Met fans every time something good happens. And maybe right now we're paying the price for last year's, I guess you could say, miraculous run, Pete Alonso's home run against the Brewers. And we're paying for that now. I don't know. But anyways, Met fans, hang in there. Get your meditation, do your deep breathing exercises, go out for a power walk, do whatever you got to do that's legal. And if it's not legal, that's fine too. Just don't get caught. And I'll be back probably tomorrow or the day after. I'm hoping at some point in time we can do some happy, positive reports. But for now, I'm here to vent with you and let you know, be careful, because rooting for the Mets can be extremely dangerous and hazardous to your health. So be careful. I'm Mike, New York Sports Rehab, and I'm out.